This could be a little bit controversial. I hope it's not, and I hope it offends no one.
We are your last line of defence.
You know, myboyskoi's been going for 3 years now, and our customers are still coming back.
There seems to be people who their customers suffer with these problems a lot.
You know, as much as anything else, you could be the reason, you could be to blame. Really, when you find that koi dealer that you like, stick with them. I've worked with some of the best in the industry and some of the worst in the industry. Hello and welcome back to myboyskoi. So we are off to go and have a chat, and this could be a little bit controversial. I hope it's not, and I hope it offends no one, but I do think there's a lot going around at the moment and it needs to be spoke about. So let me just get to where we're going, and then we can sit down and we can have this conversation.
I feel like I'm setting up for an interview here. We are your last line of defence. We are what stops the problems hitting your pond. Good koi dealers, fish shops, aquatic shops should be doing everything in their power to stop you getting KHV, CV and bacterial issues. Many reasons why you can end up with a bacterial issue. Might not be the koi dealer's fault, it might be. Could have come in from a pond, could have been a knock on a fish, could be overcrowded in a pond. I see a lot of ponds that you could almost walk over. All of these things can be factors to why you could end up with a bacterial issue. KHV, carp herpes virus, that's a different ball game. You've only brought that in if you bought the koi, you put fish from a random pond, a fish has brought it in, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. A fish has brought it into your pond. Carp herpes virus, KHV, is probably the most terrifying, horrible thing that every koi dealer, koi keeper, shop and everyone else in between is terrified of, and you should be as well, because it can wipe out the whole collection. Fish can live for a long time, KHV, and I'm sure they do in a lot of instances. I think a lot of people like to blame Israeli koi. I've done a little bit of homework on this recently. So Israeli koi, I'm just going to keep hitting you with these facts here. Israeli koi are vaccinated against KHV. It's under their government rules and it's under their laws for koi getting exported from the country. The reason why the Japanese don't do this, and myboyskoi only sell Japanese koi, we don't sell English, we don't sell Israeli, we don't sell anyone else's, and there's no issue with any of them potentially, but we chose Japanese koi and we stick by that. So the problem with the KHV and Israeli koi is the vaccine. The vaccine doesn't give the koi KHV in the sense that it can spread KHV. What it does mean though is you can't PCR test it. So remember in COVID when we were all doing the PCR test? We've got one for KHV as well. Normally the koi has to be dead. I think nowadays you can take a gill sample, but that's the issue, that they come up as showing as KHV, whether they got it or they haven't, because of the vaccine. The Japanese won't do it because they want to be able to test under their government rules, under their laws. They want to be able to test and actually find if there's KHV on site. Now, if it's been vaccinated against it, it's going to show that it's got KHV, even if it hasn't got active KHV in it. There's many ways to skin a cat, and in this video I'm going to talk about my way of doing it and why I believe it's right. Now, you can go to someone who heats the pond to 20 plus degrees, 24, 25, 26, 27, whatever it may be, and you're feeding them 3 times a day and you mix a couple of fish together, and essentially that could bring out a problem because of the heat, but more than likely it's a nice summer holiday for the fish and they're not going to get stressed out by it, and there's not going to be any issues showing. The issues start to show when the weather changes, when new fish enter the pond, when the environment changes, when we have really bad weather. All these things start to change the water makeup, the heat. That's why heat ramping is so important in my experience, and this is all coming from my experience. And I just want to give a little disclaimer while we're at it. This is all what I do, why I do it, and everything's come from my experience, my knowledge, and I'm not to say that there's not other ways of doing it. There's a lot of backbiting in the koi world. I'm not trying to have a go at anyone. I'm trying to give a little bit of information, which I believe could help a lot of people. There seems to be a lot going on online at the moment. Definitely a lot of bacterial issues. The one thing I can stand on with that is, you know, myboyskoi's been going for 3 years now and our customers are still coming back. I stand on that. You know, if we were getting calls fit to burn online, if we had loads of customers complaining, that'd be another story. That's just not the truth.
we've got a lot of loyal customers who keep coming back. So I'm currently in the middle of doing this video. I'm actually clearing out our office. We're moving to another one downstairs. It's quite slightly bigger. I have mentioned that previously. So we got KHV, absolute dreaded. Probably the worst thing that you come up against. Bacterial issues, maybe, you know, you could argue because you could actually live, your fish could actually live with KHV as long as you just didn't interrupt them too much. They could possibly live for a long time with KHV and not have too many issues or deaths. Bacteria on the other hand, that can wipe out your pond. So there seems to be a lot of bacterial issues going on at the moment. And I do also believe that a sterile environment, nice temperature, keeping the koi nice and easy, having a little summer holiday, and then they come into your pond and the weather changes and stuff like that, I think that can be a big problem, a big cause of bacteria. I think that can be where bacteria comes out, but also you could be to blame for this as well. You could have a hugely overstocked pond. You could have koi knocking into glass and bottom drains or whatever else, getting little cuts and marks. At the end of the day, they live in water. It's a false environment. It's not sterile. It doesn't take a lot before a little knock can turn into an ulcer, and ulcer turns into a worse problem, especially if you're not looking daily, if you haven't got a pond window, you can't see what's going on underneath the fish. Many reasons why bacteria can appear. But if you're buying from someone and the consensus is that there's a lot of people that seem to be having bacteria around that person or have it previously, so I have moved everything apart from one telly and one whiteboard from upstairs into the new office, and as you can see, it's all dumped in. It's a mess. I need to get it sorted. But let's get back to this conversation. Very rarely I'm on camera without ending up sweating like mad throughout it. I'm absolutely roasting now. And yeah, got a mark on my nose as well. But yeah, so I want to get back to it. I think there's many reasons why, especially bacteria. I think bacteria seems to be the main one at the moment, and it has for a while, to be honest. I think a lot of people seem to be having bacterial issues. Though, as I said, and what I do stand by, is the one thing I can sort of stand on is the fact that we've got such a good customer retention. They keep coming back who aren't suffering with these problems. There seems to be people who their customers suffer with these problems a lot. Not to blame, you know, them dealers, but it just seems to be like a few that seem to keep having the same issues. But I do think the heat ramping and the mixing of fish the way we do it, the amount of stress we cause on fish, we bring out these issues, and you don't have to. I think that's the main point what I want to sort of get across, is that we are your last line of defence. I've said this, you know, time and time again. You should have your own quarantine. I'm a firm believer in that you shouldn't blindly trust anyone. You wouldn't just go and give your car keys to some random guy in the street. So why would you sort of trust your whole collection of fish? But as much as I think everyone should have a little quarantine system, even if it's an IBC tank, it's quite hard to do a proper quarantine on your own without having the infrastructure of multiple fish, heat, etc. to really do a proper quarantine. So again, we are your last line of defence, and you should solely trust the dealer. I am a firm believer that you shouldn't really be taking fish from other people's ponds unless there's a history of that pond, you know the person, there's more to it. Just buying out someone's whole collection for 50 quid on Facebook seems like a disaster waiting to happen to me. I'm a massive believer in that. Really shouldn't be taking on what I would call second-hand fish unless there's provenance to them, you know the person, you know they've had no issues, you know, you're sort of on the ball with that. And also, it sounds bad because I'm sort of like saying don't buy from multiple dealers, but don't buy from a lot of dealers. Have one, two that you really trust, sort of try and stick to them. You know, buying from here, there and everywhere. Again, it's common sense to me that eventually that's going to go wrong. Just buying from all, you know, random people because he's a tenner cheaper or whatever. Surely that's just, you know, it's not clever, I don't think, to just be doing that. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm really not.
I am just trying to give my honest advice, and I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be buying in from anywhere. I have breeders in Japan that I been buying from for a while now, and I trust them. And I go back, and you won't really see me buying from all random breeders that I've never have before. Another one, let's talk about CV, carp edema virus, also known as sleeping sickness. So sleeping sickness should really be found in quarantine again, and if a dealer is doing the job properly, mixing fish and changing the heat, they would bring out sleeping sickness, because all the fish are more likely to have contracted it in the past and had it throughout quarantine. So you bring in a load of tosai, you put them in nisai. There seems to be a few breeders in Japan that seem to, that their fish seem to come down with sleeping sickness more than others. I think a lot of breeders do introduce sleeping sickness and just sort of get it over and done with. Once it's been out once, you shouldn't really have that issue again. But again, the dealer should be doing that for you. You really shouldn't be dealing with that. But if you ever do end up coming across sleeping sickness, time is definitely key. You need to be fast, 25, 26 degrees, 0.6 salt. There's not really a medication, and not really anything else you can do. That's the plan of action if that ever does happen to you. I think the longer you wait, the more likely you've got of losing fish. So yeah, get the temperature up, get the salt in, and hopefully CV is sorted. But again, my customers just do not suffer with sleeping sickness from koi from me. We do what we have to do to resolve that. So this video is not about me trying to make out like I'm the only koi dealer that does a good job, and there's no other ones out there. There's lots of good koi dealers out there that do a good job. This video is me trying to get across the point that if the dealer you're buying from is not doing a good job, you're the one who's going to suffer. I feel like I am confident at this point to say this because of our customer retention. So as much as there might be dealers out there who are probably not going to like this video, I might have something to say and they might be backbiting about it. If that's the case, then that's the case. What my view on this is that I can say this because our customer retention's so good that I don't feel the need to sort of have to, shimmy around and try and hide from the fact we do a proper quarantine, and our fish are healthy and our customers are happy and they keep coming back for more. You need to find that dealer that suits you and works for you. There's not much more else I can say on that. As much as anything else, you could be the reason, you could be to blame for bacterial issues, but you won't be the reason for KHV unless you're buying from anywhere, and at some point you do have to accept accountability. You can't just be buying fish from anyone, taking them from any pond and sort of expecting it to always go smooth. It's not always going to go smooth. I've had to cull whole boxes of fish from Japan before because of bacterial issues. The whole thing gone, a lot of money lost. It's part and parcel. You need to take that accountability as well, but again, trust in your dealer. So while I'm out and about on this very busy Sunday, it's like not a seaside town, it's a tourist town, no sea here. It's a tourist town, so it gets quite busy where we are here. But yeah, in the middle of this video, I went to get myself a butty out of Chatwin's, anyone knows it? And the beef was white. I've never seen white beef before, and I asked her why, and she said it just is what it is. So I'm gonna have a bite of a white beef sandwich. Yorkshire pudding. Tastes like beef. So I hope this video has come across for how it was meant to be. It was me trying to give a little bit of an insight and an education on what I believe koi dealers should be doing, you should be looking out for. Koi dealer, you should trust in them, you really should. I know my customers trust me because they keep coming back, and they have for a few years now, so I am happy and confident in that. But really, when you find that koi dealer that you like, stick with them. I've worked with some of the best in the industry and some of the worst in the industry, probably the worst in the industry, and I've seen everything. I've seen so much in, you might say, a short amount of time, but I've seen plenty and I know exactly what to look out for. Right now I'm moving on to a new job. I'm going to put a net over this pond. So this pond's like, I'm slowly cracking on when I've got an hour here and there to do it. I'm not in a big rush, it's going to look good when it's finished. But I'm going to do a net on out of 1.5 inch pipe. And I've got all my bits and bobs in there. So I'm going to crack on with this if you want to stick around and have a little look, see what I do here. So this is the frame that I've been working on. It's only took me about 20 minutes, half an hour to be fair. But the problem is I didn't account for the extra one in the middle. So I think it would have been definitely necessary. So I have added the extra one in the middle, but I haven't got enough bars. I'm going to have to order some more pipe, which is slightly annoying, but you'll see the gist of it. There's the net down there, cable tie the net to the frame, and then make some sort of like bracket hinges so it lifts up, and like a car bonnet, just put something in the way. It's just because it's like almost like an infinity pond. I want the water right to the top, but I obviously don't want to be losing fish jumping over the top, or you know, birds or whatever it may be. So I think that's going to look all right. It's going to blend in quite nicely, and I do really like these pipe frames. I've seen other people do them, so I thought I'm going to do it on this pond, and this pond is going to be spot on. The shower at the back as well, so everything about this pond is going to be finished to a good level, and I think this is just going to help it out and finish it off nicely. So guys, that's the end of this video. I hope it's come across how I've intended it to come across. You get me point. We are your last line of defense. Like I've said, we should be doing everything in our power to make sure that you don't have problems. We do everything we can here. We really do. Proper quarantines, long quarantines. Fish just do not leave us straight after they arrive. Fish go through heat ramps, they go through mixing. Like I've said, we do a proper job to make sure that you get healthy fish. We sell koi a lot cheaper than a lot of other places. It's because our overheads are lower. There's no hidden secret to it. We haven't got 6 members of staff. We haven't got a massive facility with 100 ponds. That all costs money. We don't have that. We don't have to pay for them extra things. We sell koi cheaper, but we do a proper quarantine. We give you healthy fish. We give you quality Japanese fish. So anyway, I'm going to end the video there before it turns into another lecture. I do appreciate everyone who's watching and liking, and if you're not subscribed, I really do urge you to subscribe. If you're watching the videos regular, why not? It's free to do so. Hit the subscribe button, join along, see what else we've got going on. I hope this will be finished for this week's video, but it'll be finished for next week's. Well, I think it will anyway. But apart from that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next week.